let's come to the core message. So your career is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And the two fundamental shifts that are happening is previously life was the three-stage model where you had education, work, and then retirement. This is, you will all know this. This is what your parents are going through right now. You get a nice government job sometimes, and then it's like stable retirement, and then there's a pension. In this model, people tend to retire at 60, 65, depending on the country and the industry. However, things are moving towards the multi stage model where there is education, but people are exploring during education through internships. You can even get an employment during your third year or fourth year. You can take a gap year. Some schools like BITS Pilani have like industry placements. So you're making many more transitions. You work full time, but then you also get self employed for a while. Maybe you do like some freelancing on the side, tutoring kids. Eventually, it sort of becomes like a portfolio mix of paid and unpaid work, leading finally to retirement. And even in your retirement, you're actually not fully retired. You still become like an advisor to a startup, or you run, or you're on the board of a nonprofit, and so on and so forth. In such a long career, which is 50 plus years, you also need to take care of a few assets. And this is fundamentally important in this longer term planning, because without these assets, what happens is you tend to get burnt out. So, for example, there are four kinds of assets which are absolutely mandatory for career planning: productive assets, financial assets, transformational assets, and vitality assets. So let's really first understand the definition of an asset. For the more financially savvy amongst you, you will know that an asset is something that can provide a flow of benefits over a long period of time. In other words, it's something that lasts for a while. So clearly, as life elongates, a major challenge is how you are managing these assets. Because while assets can also last for long periods, if you don't actively manage them, they also suffer from depreciation. So if you neglect them, if you don't work on them, then you lose these assets. Therefore, assets require careful maintenance and mindful investment. So if you look at productive assets, so this is what you're accumulating now at the very early stages of your career. So you've got your skills and knowledge, your university, professional network, your reputation, what kind of a student are you, what kind of an employee are you early on. Then the second bit is financial assets. So in order to support your career marathon, one, you should be financially stable. Because if you're not financially stable, then what happens is you're unable to take the time for those experiments, which will then help you with your next career move. A lot of people, this is also called as the golden handcuff syndrome. A lot of people are entirely stuck with the fact that they have to do a certain job because the bills are such that they have not done financial planning, which means they don't have enough savings. So this is very important to get right. The third piece is vitality assets. Nowadays, I think the biggest global pain point has become health. And a lot of people are burning out at the end of like 10 years of working because it's hard. There's a lot of pollution, commute, stress, and so on. So your vitality assets are absolutely critical for you to maintain, nurture, and develop in the long run so that you're able to navigate this like 50-year long career marathon. So taking care of both your mental as well as physical health. This is also the place where your relationships matter. Are you spending enough time with friends, family? Do you have like a support system? Because in a 50-year marathon, there will be a lot of lows, a lot of highs. So you will need an emotional support system on top of all your financial support system. Then finally, we come to the transformational asset side of this. So this is where a teacher can one day go and become, let's say, a restaurant owner, or the other way, like Jack Ma. You start in the restaurant industry and then you become like an e-commerce entrepreneur. The reason for that is, one, you know who you are, you know what your strengths are, you're building that self-awareness, but you're also building a very diverse network. So diversity in the network is important because that gives you access to new information and new opportunities. So you can change industries, you can change countries, you can even change like entire customer segments because you've got diversity inbuilt into your network. If you are not interacting with people that are 10, 20 years senior to you or 10 years junior to you, you're missing out on new ideas and new creative ways of doing things. And of course, this is what helps you with your experimentation. So let me actually paint a little picture here and give you like some perspective on what the multi-stage life can actually look like. Someone starts with their undergrad engineering, for example. You're probably here, then you get your first job, and you get your second job. You decide first job is obviously campus placements or something where luck typically tends to play a huge role, limited options. After your second job, you start a little side hustle for a hobby or income. You might be good at digital marketing or some coding. Then you might choose to do higher education. You get another job in that new country. At this point, you're like late 20s, you decide to become a mentor for someone. You work for a few years and you might decide to go back to school to do an MBA or some sort of a business degree. And after that, it can be further studying on the sides, whether it's your Udemy, Coursera, LinkedIn, or live class. And your fourth job change, industry or function, startup, you might even like take a sabbatical, and you're getting the idea. So here at this point, you're also laying the financial foundation for your future career pivot. So each of this can be thought of as a pivot. So if you want to go to B school, you need to do financial planning, student loans, when can you get out of loans so that you can actually like take the risk to start a startup or even take some time off to recharge your batteries, work on your health, come back, build like that six-pack apps or whatever it is that you're passionate about. Then you can see that things keep changing. There's so much more opportunity here in your 50s and 60s, and finally you attain financial independence at some point, so you don't technically have to work anymore. And even after that, you can join a social enterprise, you can start giving back to the community, you establish your own charity or foundation. I hope you guys found this video useful. Please share it with your friends and family. I'll be back with more content soon. Till then, stay safe, take care, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.